demands for its realization proper intellectual and material environment. A man must, in a spirit of devotion to the state, give his best to the state in his own particular station in life. Plato strongly believed that a state regulated system of education could best create this spirit of devotion and that excellence in the performance of public duty which was demanded of every citizen. Public education was therefore a direct corollary of Platonic justice and hence the most important function of the state. According to Plato, education has individual as well as social aspects. In the individual aspect, it was to aim at bringing reality closer to the soul so as to promote truth and virtue. In the social aspect, education was to promote harmony and to ensure that everybody performed socially useful duties. In outlining his system of education, Plato combined the then existing Athenian system of education with that of the Spartan system of education. Under Athenian system, education was a private affair and it was entirely the duty of the parents to educate their children in the manner they liked best. On the other hand, Spartan system of education was completely state controlled. The children were separated from their parents at the early age of 4 and put in hostels under the care of prefects. It was the duty of the state to educate them in such a way as to bring them in harmony with social and political conditions. Special care was taken while imparting physical and military training so that the future citizens were adequately capable of defending their state, which was surrounded by hostile neighbors. Plato combined both these systems. However, his personal preference was for Spartan system of education. He disliked the lack of organization in Athens and declared that as in Sparta, the education system should be under the direct and strict control of the state. Hence, Plato recommended a state controlled, comprehensive, and graded scheme of education for both boys and girls in a systematic and progressive manner. For Plato, children show their potential as they grow through the educational system, and according to their capabilities, they should receive their further training. In childhood, the important thing was not so much the imparting of knowledge as the cultivation of certain types of attitudes towards things and men. In youth, education should be both physical and moral. Here came in music for the soul and gymnastics for the body. Plato's music contained what led to intellectual and cultural development, whereas his gymnastics included all that developed the body, such as physical exercise, diet, and medicine. In the second, that is the adult stage, education was to be general and vocational. Education must help the individual to discover his or her true vocation in life. For the elementary years of schooling, education shall be predominantly physical. Every school is to have a gymnasium and a playground. Play and sport are to be the entire curriculum. But mere athletics and gymnastics would make a man too one-sided. Plato says, "How shall we find a gentle nature which has also great courage? For they seem to be inconsistent with each other. Perhaps music will solve our problem. Through music, the soul learns harmony and rhythm and even a disposition to justice. For can he who is harmoniously constituted ever be unjust? Music molds character and therefore shares in determining social and political issues. Music and measure lend grace and health to the soul and to the body. But again, too much music is as dangerous as too much athletics. To be merely an athlete is to be nearly a savage, and to be merely a musician is to be melted and softened beyond what is good. With minds so freely growing and bodies made strong by sport and outdoor life of every kind, the ideal state would have a firm psychological and physiological base, broad enough for every possibility and every development. As Plato aimed to inculcate order and harmony in the personalities of the young guardians, so he vehemently proposed censorship of poetry, literature, and art. This stage of education would be followed by 2 years of compulsory military training, so that the guardian class as a whole are trained as professional warriors. At the age of 20, all the learners shall face the first scrutiny or test of what they have learned in all years of equal education. It will be the great elimination or a ruthless weeding out. Every kind of ability will have a chance to show itself, and every sort of stupidity will be hunted out into the light. Those who fail will become soldiers and shall be assigned the duty of auxiliaries. The test will be impartial and impersonal. The selection will be more democratic than democracy. Only the best ones who pass this test would receive an advanced course in mathematics, which would include arithmetic, geometry, and astronomy. But Plato believes that learning mathematics is not sufficient. It would lead young guardians only to the part of the way to perfect knowledge, while as goal is to get beyond the sense to pure conceptual knowledge. Hence, at the age of 30, there would be another selection. Those who qualified would study dialectics or metaphysics, logic and philosophy for the next 5 years. According to Plato, by now, the lucky ones that ride these successive waves would have reached the age of 30. It would not have been wise to let them taste the dear delight too early. For young men, when they first get the taste of philosophy in their mouths, argue for amusement and are always contradicting and refuting, like puppy dogs who delight to tear and pull at all who come near them. This their delight philosophy means two things chiefly: to think clearly, which is metaphysics, and to rule wisely, which is politics. Well, after 5 years of training in this recondite doctrine of ideas, and after this long preparation from childhood through youth and into the maturity of 35 years, they would be given junior positions in political life, which would last for next 15 years. By the age of 50, only a few will grasp the higher truth that Plato calls the good, which is the cosmic principle of order that unites both physical and ethical principles in a grand synthesis. It is that which gives the whole universe and everything in it a meaning and a purpose. Only those